Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Starbase friends around the world. Astro Joe here for RGV Starbase Weekly, episode 143. We also have a very special episode today, marking our third annual Christmas for the Kids St.Jude Fundraiser. Last year we raised about $6,300 in YouTube and was matched dollar for dollar by my CEO and our future, hopefully, NASA Administrator, Jared Isaacman. He has once again given me the word and a promise to match us dollar for dollar again. So let's give these kids a good Christmas. And for now, I'll pass it on over to your host, Stephanie.
Okay, g'day from Australia. This is Stephanie B here, aka Aussie Space Girl. And yeah, it's been a few weeks since we've had a flyover due to some pretty horrible weather. So we appreciate everyone's patience, especially first up. And we appreciate and thanks in advance for everyone's generosity today. And I'll introduce, we've got two commentators with us today. We've got Alex. G'day, Alex.
Good morning, Steph. It's off to a great day, so can't wait for the show.
That's great to hear. And we've also got Todd. G'day, Todd.
G'day, good morning. Hello, everyone. So glad to be here. 4 weeks of development, and then St. Jude's on top of it. This is going to be an amazing stream. Can't wait to get into it.
Okay, and with that, let's head over to Massey's. Okay, here we are at Massey's. Let's have a quick look at the Can Crush area first.
Hey, Steph, real quick, I gotta interrupt. We just got a $1,000 anonymous donation. I know we were already into the hundreds before we even started, but man, you guys are awesome. I love this community. Carry on. I had to say something.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Anonymous. That's just amazing. I'm lost for words. Well, I found some words again.
Yeah, give us a couple pictures. I'm sure we'll find plenty of words and rabbit holes.
Indeed.
Okay, onto the Can Crusher rig. There's something going on in the center here. I'll keep looking at the photos, but there's some kind of some grand images I spotted through the week. It's quite more pronounced into like a pyramid sort of shape. So more than likely just a welding tent, I would imagine. That's what I'm thinking.
Indeed, there's quite a few welding carts surrounding it.
Yeah, all around here, yeah, that's a good point. Yep. And where's that ring? The ring back here is still under construction for the center. The center 10, sorry, my brain had a fade then. So center 10 there. And over here we have a new one for the very center 3. So it looks like that'll go in the very middle for the center 3 engine mounts to test up underneath the booster. So we'll get a block 2 booster here next. It's becoming more and more obvious that that's what's going to happen here next.
That's a partial booster. I don't think we'll see the whole booster in there. So from the questions when they start coming in, it's probably.
So yeah, of course, just a test article, yeah. So, and the evidence there is we've seen the little lugs being added up the top here to do the torsional testing for the top of the tank, so it can add some twisting load to the tank. So the can crusher is going to end up up here. So it's definitely just a part of a booster, like as we've always seen, just a test article. So there'll be no full booster in here. I know a lot of people have pondered that question whether they could put a full booster in here, but I don't know they've got the equipment or the need necessarily to put a full booster in here, because they do, as we're going to see very soon, booster 15 is going to come out. They have for full boosters, they have the cryo thrust puck tester stand to do the full boosters. So this is just for test articles to do new hardware.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've gotten to it yet, but they have just a multitude of rams down there getting ready to go, being set up, prepped. So yeah, this one is going to be tested, and if they use all these rams, it will be tested in every which way possible.
Yeah, down here. So yeah, between all those rams, there's plenty of rams to fit all the 33 spots.
And extra.
Well, there's the ones they won't be using this time. The 20 around the outside, they may not pick the pull. I guess they will, won't they? Still use the pull down rams, won't they, as well as the push up rams, because they have those poles ready to go. So there's going to be 20 pull down rams as well as 20 push up rams around the outside, plus the 13 in the middle.
Because I don't think we've seen a mount yet to just hold it static in place with a rod, so it's likely we'll have 40 outer.
That's quite a lot of hydraulics. So we still see the guide frames here for the outer 20 pull down rams. So the actuators have to work in opposite directions. These rams will be pulling down and all these rams will be pushing up. Just an interesting sideline chat we had on... Oh, sorry, Alex?
Oh, no, that's not important.
Little sideline chat we had in discussion in show and tell is whether or not this old can crusher had 20 push-up rams. And it may have had 20 push-up rams in between here. If we look at this image from a while ago, I think we worked out, was that 7 and 24? There's a spot in between here. Maybe that did have a push-up ram, but anyway, I digress.
I thought they could only pull down with the outer cylinders previously, but I could be mistaken. Memory faded.
Yeah, I need to do a bit more researching of that one. So, not a lot to talk about with the new testing rig, except that that ring for 3 center rams arrived. So, it appears this little piece of steel is once again not being used at all. It's just there to hold 4 rams. I've got no idea what that piece of steel is for. I don't think we've seen that piece of steel used for quite some time, and I don't think anybody's really worked out exactly what it's for in this new scheme of things.
It's their vertical tool stand.
Yep. I think so. Okay, let's go on to the scrapyard area here, shall we? As you can see, booster 12's aft is no longer, like completely gone, and booster 13's hot stage ring is still here though, in bits and pieces. I'll see if I can get through a whole episode and say the right booster numbers.
Nope, not going to happen. I know at least for me. Starship's Gator the other day, I want to say it was maybe Wednesday, she caught the booster components on a truck and trailer heading off to be recycled. I know it was midweek at least.
Yeah, that's correct. I did say that. Oh, that's not the photo.
And early in the weeks, the blue top, the test top, departed for the build site.
Sorry, this.
The skinny ring that they, that one.
Yep. So it looks like they're going to put that ring on top of the test article. So that kind of indicates that there's actually a test article, at least in some kind of stage of manufacture in the factory, which will have that blue ring put on top at the factory this time, which I guess will aid in the lifting and also mating up with the actual can crusher cap here. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah. Oh.
So in the middle section here, we've got this a new tank and a couple of new vaporizers. And I guess a good guess there would be for the pressurizing of these tanks, and when they pump locks out, they can backfill with gas. That's a better angle. And there's another tank over here sitting. Not sure where that's going to be for. We haven't really found a spot here at Massey's, have we?
I looked.
I'm not sure about that tank. And some little low horizontal vaporizers we haven't seen since, I think, the suborbital tank farm.
That's the last place we're using those.
Which seems like a forever age ago. So I think they're just sitting there. That's where the vaporizer was sitting. I don't think that's actually anything structural there. Could that be a second flame? No, it's not another flame thingy, is it? No.
No, it's definitely a vertical tank.
It's on the connector road. It looks like there's another one of those tanks staged.
Okay, yeah, I've got a port photo I'll bring up in a minute. There was 3 of those sitting at the port. Actually, I might just do that quickly while we're here. Is it there? There it is. So these are down at the port. I guess one of these tanks. I wonder if it's one of these tanks that's sitting at the port at the junction. One of the wrapped ones, or one of these not wrapped ones.
They have room for 2 of the wrapped ones at the launch site.
Yeah.
And potentially one of these verticals. We'll get
Yeah.
there in a bit.
So heaps of tanks, yeah, a few tanks getting brought in here and there everywhere. Okay, moving on to the flame trench. Of course, we saw ship 33, there we go, do a static fire test after it. Just get that right. Did like 3 little test fills and then a spin prime and then finally did a static fire. Had the photographers out there a couple of times trying to capture this static fire. They were out there and came back. I've talked to a couple of the guys on the ground taking photos. They were like on call there for a bit, waiting for the static fire. And once again, SpaceX released some nice drone footage.
Yeah, I was really excited to get these drone shots and the undercarriage shots. It was really cool to see different things. I'm still waiting for the water deluge test. I want to see how everything. I want to see it going from underneath, but I will not complain with seeing this stuff. This was great.
There was a slight teaser on one of these videos.
Yeah, oh, trust me, I noticed. You see the water spraying out towards the top. It's the first thing I noticed.
We also get this nice LOX vent, this oxygen vent over here.
There's snazzy
Coming.
diffusers.
Yeah, coming from this diffuser here, which comes up over here, from over here somewhere.
It's the vent boil off when they're back draining the pipes.
That's interesting that it happens as the static fire is going.
And it looks like we're catching them mid-filter change of this photo.
The lid's off, yep. On the specialized crane here.
That's a hard way to have to change your skimmer.
I reckon. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to see this whole thing as an animation or as a good video, and sort of how we think this little bit of high pressure gas here kind of gets the system kicked off. So this tank can get some pressure to get the whole system running, which then pushes water through the heat exchangers to create more from liquid nitrogen into high pressure gaseous nitrogen to find and come up into here. And then the system eventually self-perpetuates once this system over here is up and running. It's quite amazing, quite an elegant and amazing design, that. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, and as when we get to the launch site, it's starting to show more and more like the new water deluge system. There will be similar to this one. So SpaceX seems like they like the design and how it worked too.
So not a great deal to report on here at Massey's, but as we can see, things are plodding along. We've got, I believe, booster 15 presently at Massey's at the cryogenic test stand.
Snuck out last night, I believe.
Yeah, I woke up this morning to notification saying that it's arrived and sitting here. So we should see a cryo test on booster 15, which is what? Flight 7 hardware. Can't believe we're already saying Flight 7.
There's also been a few deliveries out there of some the gases needed to do the full cryo testing. So I think they're going to kick it off early next week. It would be my guess, the way SpaceX has been moving.
That long?
Yeah, right. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tonight. But yeah, it shouldn't take long before they start that.
A couple of questions popped up about whether this new oxygen tanks, they could maybe get rid of the old LOX tanks. I mean, there's enough LOX here now. I think someone calculated to fill 2 ships and a booster in LOX. I think someone said in show and tell. So quite a lot of LOX storage here now. We'll do this commercial block while we do Massey's as well before we go to Joe quickly. So just quickly over here, lots of development over here at the commercial block. I don't know there's going to be shops still. I think the last thing from Kathy Lauder was it's just going to be accommodation. But we can see lots of piles getting driven here. The last flyover, this pile driver was over in this area putting piles in which have been buried. We can see some fresh dirt here. We can see these interesting little cutouts in here. I'm kind of little about that, whether this is the actual end grade they're going to end up with this height, or whether there's some kind of basement parking going in here. I'm not sure yet. We've got a heap of these timber piles getting put in, which is unusual. Would have thought they would use concrete.
Yeah, because it looks like they're using concrete on the other side.
Down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they put there. That's the fact that they use wood piles versus concrete piles. So we'll be watching that spot for sure.
Oh, there's the hose. Where's the rest of the concrete infrastructure?
I think they're just driven piles as well.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Even where's the hardware for that? That's something we didn't go through on Chantel. Oops. Okay, and at the other end of the site we have lots more of this cutout area there, and this new development here, which may be the restaurant we hear about, with a bit of parking for it and the balcony overlooking the Rio Grande River there. Oh, there's a bulldozer with one of those GPS things on top of it too. So this one doesn't have anything like that on it. This one's just going by eye, I think.
Yeah.
The tractor doesn't even have GPS on it.
They might just be using it for scraping loose soil to move to a staging area. Non-precision work.
Sorry for jumping around. Yeah, I have a little bit of history with these. Back on farmlands where I grew up, we'd use laser grading. We'd use a laser receiver here and a laser transmitter out on a tripod, and that would get the field. Sorry, people in America don't know what a paddock is. The field would get the field nice and laser leveled, which would help irrigation. And with that, we could put a few degrees slope. But once again, I digress. Quickly going to this lot, it looks like a lot of stuff is cleared out in this area over here. And other than that, not a lot of change here. The turntable from Sanchez is still here. So I think with that, Joe, I think we'll let you start on your St. Jude's little spiel. And I think we've got a video coming up. Is that correct?
Yeah, Emlyn, want to roll the video?
I love decorating the Christmas tree.
I love decorating the Christmas tree as well. It's a wonderful thing. When we start to decorate the trees, well, it's a symbol that the holidays are almost here. I cannot wait. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
And look at all of the beautiful lights on the tree. I've seen some trees with little white clear lights, some of them that twinkle, some of them that sparkle, and some that are multicolored as well. What is your favorite?
Multicolor.
The rainbow light's a wonderful thing. I think they're all wonderful. And one of my very favorite parts of the tree and decorating the tree is seeing families come together and create some holiday magic. Isn't it wonderful?
It's so wonderful.
Now you see the little lights, though, they're not going to get you on the nice list.
Really?
Do you know what gets you on the nice list, Abby?
No.
Kindness.
Aww.
It's pretty easy if you think about it. It's being kind to those around us and also being kind to ourselves. Isn't it wonderful?
It is.
Now this is the season of giving. And this is a season also to think of others, a very important thing. One of my very favorite ways to give back to others is to support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. This is a time where we can think about how we can donate and how best we can do this. And did you know this is a certain way to the nice list?
Really?
Isn't it wonderful?
It is.
Now, the mission of St. Jude, a wonderful thing, also the hope of Danny Thomas, the founder, was that no child would ever die of cancer. This is the hope, this is the goal, the mission in looking to the future.
That's amazing.
And every time someone donates to St. Jude, we are a little bit closer to reaching that goal. Isn't it wonderful?
That's wonderful.
Well, let's finish up this tree, Abby. And nicely done, nicely done. Can you hand me another ornament?
Sure.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. That is excellent. Thank everybody for their support here. Wow, we've got a lot of support. From Just Martin, $50 or £50 donation to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Anonymous with $40. Todd Bernal, our very own this guy, $20. Sputnik Geezer, $20. Sharpie with 5. Yazada, $50. Explorando el Espacio donated $50. Calisti Ali with $50. Rocket Prophet with $50. An anonymous donation for $1,000. Wow. Toby Wobie with $50. Josh Berkey donated $100. Darth Lawrence with 5. Methane Man with $500. Amazing support. Ryan Kasky donated 5. Another anonymous donation for $50. All 4IX with $20. Alan McKeithen with $20. Joel Burnett with $20. James Scheid with $100. We just got another anonymous for $100, and Dave Avery as well with $100. This is all amazing support. Thank you all so much. We're doing this for the kids. Just for an example, $10 can help provide a new toy for hospital play areas at St. Jude. $25 can help provide a no more chemo party to celebrate the end of a patient's chemotherapy treatment. $50 could help St. Jude provide necessities for parents who may have hurriedly left their home after their child's diagnosis. $100 can help provide a patient wagon. $250 could help cover the cost of the share for chemotherapy for a St. Jude patient. $500 can help cover the cost of the share of a bone marrow treatment for a St. Jude patient. So just some examples of how your money is being spent. We appreciate you very much. Also wanted to mention that Kenneth Coates sent a $250 PayPal donation for Merry Christmas, Children of St. Jude. However, I would like to caution against that. Please do not send the donations via PayPal. A, that causes some accounting and maybe some potential tax problems for Mauricio. And B, that will not be matched by Jared Isaacman. So let's keep it to the the donation button on the chat, please. So with that being said, we've all caught up on that. Let's get into some questions. I have 3 questions to address. First one being from Phil. Do we know if they have or will send a boat out to collect Booster 13 parts?
Good question. We haven't seen anything in regards to that yet. So I guess the answer there is we don't know. But so far, no. I have an idea that it drifted into deeper water is one thing, though, which is different to Booster 12.
Yeah, if they are doing that, they are not using the same boat. The people on the land who are normally watching for that stuff haven't seen it. The Haas Windridge, I believe, is the one they've been using before. I know it wasn't in that area the last time I checked. It's been about a week, but so far I haven't seen anything yet.
All right, I want to thank Gigi for donating $50, just came in, along with Maxine H donating €10. Thank you very much for that support. A question from Crane Man. Could the extra tank be for the Raptor 3 testing since it has more thrust?
Perhaps.
Go.
I'm not sure how much different the fuel flow yet is on Raptor 3 than 2.
I think besides the, I think the engine, whether it be version 2, 2.5 or 3, I don't think it has a great deal to do with the testing of the new article, rather than I believe the new Block 2 booster has to be lighter. So I think they're going to be testing some new construction techniques so they can reduce the empty weight of a booster. I think it's going to be more to do with that new structure, new hardware, rather than the new engines. And of course, they can add whatever force they need. They probably use more force than the engines can generate anyway. They maybe 1.5 times the force. They generally, when they proof test things, they generally go greater than 100%. So, yeah, more than likely they'll put the forces of a Raptor 3 engine up underneath this test article for sure.
All right, I got a final question from Stephen Lewis. Why is the tile line notched and slanted on ship 33?
That's a good question, Hian. So notched and slanted, yeah. So with the catching, there's going to be more development in this little area here when it comes to catching a booster. Now there's a couple of slanted bits here where I think that's what they're talking about, where the plasma reacts with the forward and aft flaps. A little bit of plasma reacts over the top here, I believe, underneath the flaps, sorry. And the same here, there's a little bit of plasma perhaps. So eventually this whole area is going to change dramatically when it comes to catching a booster.
The move Starlink location as well.
Which is down here. So there's two here now. There's one here.
And the empty square looks like right above, looks like there might be room for another mount as well.
So there's 6 Starlink aerials on this ship as far as I know now. 2 here and 4 on the sides here. Like I said, this whole tile area is going to change over the next few ships to allow for the catching hardware to be in there. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank some late-breaking donations from Fred P. with $50, Zero Fox with 20, Julian Richards with £5, and another anonymous $500 donation. Thank you, people, with your kind hearts. That is so amazing support. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I also wanted to touch on with the donations that don't worry about YouTube. They will not be taking their cut on this. So when we donate through the YouTube donation button on the chat stream, we get 100% of those to go to St. Jude. So that's one thing why we just want to use this through YouTube.
Good point. Thank you very much. I think we can move on to Sanchez.
Well, let's just do that. Yeah, I want to iterate that's amazing support. I really appreciate everyone's support there. I'm I know we've got a very generous community, so I'm not overly surprised, but wow, the thousands and $500, they're definitely a big surprise. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go on to the new OLM. So a few interesting developments this week. Let's start with this image. We saw the, so there's 2 here, there's 4 now of these pancake pieces placed on top, which sort of indicates a lot of welding is being completed underneath, I guess. And these plates, there's a lot of welding to do underneath here. Every single one of these, top of these beams, these have to be welded up underneath. And we saw some plates get put on the inside. I haven't quite found them because they wouldn't be blocking these holes, obviously.
Right by your hand stuff is one of them. Right to the right. The rusty one right there.
Oh, okay. They're on the face.
Yeah, they're the adjacent the arm base.
Okay, and we're still really no idea what these slots are for yet. Any ideas about them again yet, Alex?
Hopefully they're a latching mechanism for the hold down arms, or people will be very sad when there's a very narrow Raptor QD, but that's just to trigger people.
Oh, that's nasty. Okay. I saw this little manifold piece arrive on a truck one of the weeks we've been away, and it's just sitting there waiting. So a lot of work going on the new LM. We can't really see, so lots and lots of welding still going on. Between this aerial and some of the ground photos, I still haven't seen any plumbing inside the actual OLM yet. So actually anything really inside the OLM yet. So they was just still busy welding away on the actual main structure, the superstructure.
Yeah, we had
Perhaps
quite a good conversation on the water flow and what it could be, and we need more pipe work to be able to see it, but it's going to be really interesting to watch.
those new manifolds that showed up are quite likely the side pieces for the Pancake on top for their flow manifold.
For along here.
Exactly.
So there's a chance there'll be a pipe around the outside, sitting around the outside here.
Most likely.
Which will be that sort of size pipe. Okay,
Yeah,
that does make sense.
Yeah, those are alternating 6 and 8-inch stub outs.
Yep.
And perhaps very soon we'll start seeing stuff loaded into under the sublayer of the OLM. Since they're
So
probably done.
I wonder if that'll be like basically a big manifold around the outside. I wonder if that manifold's being fed from underneath or from the outside over the back. I guess that's the back, just from the back side, and get pushed around both ways.
That's what it's looking more and more likely, since there's not a lot of room to be running a large diameter water feed inside the mount right now.
Yep,
As
that
well
makes
as
sense.
now that they're fully encasing the upper surface, it'd be very challenging to maneuver large pipeworks inside.
Actually, that's another very good point. They've got the little access holes on the edges here, but yeah, that's. Oh, that one's doesn't have one anyway, does it?
Oh, there's only 2 or 4, I think, on the upper. The lower levels, they have accesses in all 2 per corner.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
ones are sort of yep, down bottom. That's right. Then the bottom there was more access holes. Yep.
Which I
Okay.
believe is
Go on.
where we're going to start seeing more pipes being fed in, since they're probably finishing welding the 2 halves, the top and the bottom section, since they're moving to the top.
We won't get to see that plumbing all the way through there, more than likely.
Well, a lot of staged around it and that sort of things. But no, unfortunately.
Okay, let's move over here a little bit. So here's the rest. It looks like all the pieces for the Pancake are actually here, not fully assembled yet. That one there hasn't been assembled. Here's the next one here. And it looks like the inside edge now has been filled in with plate. So that rules out for now any kind of waterfall coming out of that part of it. I think we were speculating there might be water coming out the ends, but there was always a bit of an issue with firing water over the hot engine bells. So that's probably not going to have a water flow out there, unless they're going to put some kind of holes here and some kind of diverters in there.
It's entirely possible they're going to do that. Or water will just cascade over the edge, a la SLS and the shuttle did that.
Yeah, until I saw
the
the upper plates like that they were blocked off on the inner edges, I thought for sure that it would be something like that where it just kind of pours in, keeps the water over the plates being refreshed, and then into the engine area to dampen the vibrations, the noise, and everything else that they want to keep down. But then they capped off in, so I don't know.
I think that assembly is going to be below this, which we won't
So some
see.
more water might be introduced down underneath here.
There or below this top layer level on the lower square, because there's cutouts.
Yep, that all makes sense. And we haven't seen any holes drilled in this top plate yet. I'm not sure whether we're going to see them or not in the top, like what's underneath OLM-A. I'm not sure we'll see that or not, to be honest.
There will be, but I think they're going to wait till everything's welded down because they're awfully concerned about warping right now.
I guess they have to have somewhere for the water to exit, don't they? Just as I said that sentence, I thought, hang on, the water goes in, somewhere it's got to come out, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it is mentioned in the it's PAE or PEA? PEA mentions it's going to be water cooled on top.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the new... Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, expanding steam in a tight metal confinement is not a good thing, and I don't think YouTube wants me to explain that. But yeah, that they have to have some way for that water to flow through and refresh itself, because it's not going to be good.
Yeah, no, that was a silly thing I said before. Yes, definitely have holes somewhere along the line. Okay, onto the flame bucket. Unlike Massey's, which had a pre-assembled flame bucket, it appears they're making the flame bucket here. So at Massey's, we saw the framework for underneath the flame bucket, and then the actual flame bucket itself arrived pre-assembled. But as you can see here, we've got these pipes here and these bent pieces of pipe here. So the flame bucket is going to be assembled here on site. And I'll just give you a quick look at a render by our ever vigilant Chrome Kiwi showing. So here we would find the T, those pipes that have the T piece in it, and we can see the bent pieces of pipe down the bottom here. And so far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far, the flame bucket holder is that big. A little bit of fine detail. This little piece here, I'll show you that I'll come back. I'll go back and show you that little piece.
I believe that will be different than he has drawn.
Well, that happens sometimes, for sure. Is it this photo? No.
No, it's by the white pick. Yes.
So there's this piece here, which looks like a push bike parking rack, which could be this piece in here.
But I believe it's going to be skinned, and it'll probably be a easy to replace portion of the bucket.
So we think those pipes with the T in them tap into this piece, don't we?
Indeed.
Yeah, and then what water would go through this pipe?
There'd be another entrance because I didn't complete anything on time, unfortunately.
Oh, you'll get the sack. What's going on? So remember, these will have little holes along it like the one at Massey's, so as water gets pumped in, it can flow all the way to the top. So you'd think there'd be a lot of rocket blast on the top here, but I guess they've got it. So once again, what Chrome Kiwi does for us is, with the information we have at hand, which isn't a lot, he puts together what he imagines, and sometimes it's spot on, sometimes it's a little bit off, but at least it gives us an amazing idea of, gives us a good outline of what's happening anyway, and any picture speaks 1,000 words. So the awesome work there, Chrome Kiwi.
And it's also a great way of seeing our ideas evolve over time.
Exactly, yep. So make sure you give Chrome Kiwi a follow there on X. It's well worth following. His diagrams are quite something.
Yes.
We've even got a little GIF. So this is... Oh, hang on. This is the way they're sitting at the moment on the ground, and they need to be switched over to this orientation when they're finally assembled and put into the flame trench. So don't be confused by the way they're sitting on the ground like this, which that's a good little GIF to show that how they're sitting on the ground compared to how they're going to be finally installed. Thank you very much. As we can see, they're sitting on the ground the wrong way around.
Yeah, as I was looking at that, I couldn't figure out how it was going to go together. Then I see Chrome Kiwi's render, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I knew that.
You mean
Of
you don't
course,
spend hours and hours studying them, Todd?
Doesn't matter. I still can't put some of this stuff together like he does, even if I do spend hours and hours staring at it.
He has the talent. We love
Indeed.
what's he say? Did a quick sketch. That was Chrome Kiwi's quick sketch. That's a quick sketch. Okay, let's keep moving along. So there's obviously two massive big items missing right here. We'll look at them a bit later on at the launch site. The two massive big methane tanks. It's finally good to see them finally out of the way. We'll just quickly go over here. We've got some new stands. Not sure, they're much smaller than 9 meter diameter, with circle on the bottom and the square sort of on top, which, remembering those sort of shape from the Mega Bay 2 where they have the fold down stand, so this could be something to do with something smaller with even some work stands. Not sure what exactly, maybe some of the top of the nose cone, perhaps, maybe something to do with header tanks. Doesn't seem to be very...
it's probably for the booster header tanks, landing tank. They have the test article they wheeled out that looked like a giant culvert a month or so back.
So do you think that was a new, improved, much bigger landing tank, perhaps?
Indeed. The booster is getting quite a bit larger, so it's going to need a higher volume.
So we saw them add to the landing tank with those little tanks around the outside of the main landing tank, so they must be including those as well. As well as, by the look of it, that was even bigger than all that volume again, so there's actually going to be a lot more landing fuel altogether.
And there's a lot of welding to the distribution manifold at the bottom of those that has to happen.
True, yes. Yeah, it's amazing. The plumbing down there is pretty spectacular. So we'll keep moving along. Here's no more work. There's not even any equipment to show any work on the new transport stand, but I imagine that, as we say every week, I imagine it'll continue soon. It hasn't happened yet. It'll be another 12 months. We'll still be saying it, I'll bet. Okay, moving on. We have another one of these rigs. Not sure if they're all if they're all turntables or not, but some of them we notice could very well be turntables, but they might not need all of them to be turntables. So we've seen quite a steady flow of these going to the Star Factory, which is good to see. Remembering that the Star Factory is also a research and development factory, so they could be testing new methods of building the rockets with different rigs and jigs as they go along. We can see more centres. These ones have a funny little cutout in them, and some of them have like a polygon sort of shape to them, which I couldn't quite see on these ones here, but it may be an illusion. There may be a straight edge in between there. Or it might even be the bottom one that we can't see that polygon shape.
think it's the lower one where they're baiting the ribs to it.
Yeah, that could be correct, yeah. Okay, a quick look through the GSC equipment. We'll start down here. Can we see down here 1 second? This photo. So a lot of the GSC equipment we've seen in a lot of the plumbing and manifolds we've seen in this area obviously have been delivered to the launch site, and we'll get to see them a bit when we go down there. This is another one of the tops of the heat exchangers, maybe even the one that's here. So there's 1, 2, 3, then a gap, then the fourth one. We can see that on the heat exchange. On this one over here shows it nicely. Right, there you are. 1, 2, 3, then a gap, then a fourth one. So a lot of that work has happened in this building, but as we'll see in a second, go on, Alex.
And the ones at the LC are two pairs of two on the tops for their vents.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. So there's 2, then a gap, then 2. Okay, thank you. So the whole center section here, I remember us. Oh, here, wrong photo. 1 second. I remember saying about all the room when they cleared all this room for the tower construction, and now it's getting completely filled up again.
Yeah, I remember we had questions asking about what they're going to do with the area all that's cleared out. Well, now here's your answers. It's getting ready with all the pipe work and prep work and just different welding stations for everything for the OLM. It looks like there's pipes everywhere.
So start at this end. I noticed on our last flyover, there's heaps of elbows being added to bits of to straight pipes in here. And we'll see this in the launch site where all these elbows come into play. So this whole area here, look, there's racks and racks of pipes. There's so much plumbing. Lots of elbows, lots of 90 degrees. The poor cryogenic fluids are going to get dizzy going backwards and forwards to the launch site with all these elbows. Lots and lots of elbows. All the way through here, they've been doing stacks and stacks of work to get the new launch pad up and running. All the way through that whole area, that whole strip through there is all to do with that work in particular. Okay, on to the chopsticks. Yeah, that photo will do. So not a great deal. They've moved one of the actuator rams from here over to here. Where is it over there? Not sure. So that may start getting its final fit out soon. It's got a lot of plumbing to be installed on the top like we've seen on the other actuators. That wouldn't possibly be the one for the SQD arm, would it?
Probably not.
Yeah, okay.
The SQD arm, it looks like it's much closer than it's been. And then it's going to need a few weeks to get plumbed up.
So you expect to see a lot of plumbing put on before they install it, Alex?
Oh, yes. It's a lot easier than hoisting it up.
And then the other arm, which will be in this direction, I guess they'll plumb it up separate, because on Tower A, this part was lifted up separate to the extension piece, wasn't it?
It was, and so far we haven't seen signs of where they're welding that extension.
It'll just arrive pre-assembled, perhaps. It looks like it could fit on a truck. Or
it's one pieces it's getting a probably substantial workover from Tower A.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can see a lot of changes in the SQD from Tower 1. Or it could be in this piece down here, could be in one of the tents nearby. Okay, the actual chopsticks. They're still getting some work done. I think this area here has been painted. There's still some areas that need to be painted. Looks like they've made that piece there shiny.
There's
Go
still
on.
quite a bit of doublers they're welding. Right by your hand, there's a large pile.
Yeah, yep. So it still looks like a few weeks away still before we see Chopsticks head up to the launch site. We'll get to more of that when we get to the launch site with all the scaffolding around. It doesn't take a minute to get rid of the scaffolding, I guess. But it seems like, there's still a bit of work going on.
That's
Yeah,
like
those
the day's
scaffolding guys.
work.
The scaffolding guys can have that down in no time when they're ready. It makes me wonder if it's going to be a couple weeks stuff because they're already starting to set up things at the launch site for mounting the carriage and everything. So I wonder how long it'll be. I'm thinking it might be shorter, but with the holidays, maybe you're right.
I'm presuming it'll be done before the next launch, just from the structures they're building at the launch site.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good point, Alex. I actually hadn't thought of that.
You keep me around for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Now onto the what do you call this? The carriage. My words are going to fail me. So all the accumulator tanks or reservoir tanks have been installed. I think they have a set of reservoir tanks, and a set of I can't remember what they're called again. How's that go, Alex?
There's the accumulators and the reservoir, or calling them the same thing. One of them contains the high pressure, and one of them collects the low pressure oil, since they're using the high pressure gas as their pump medium on the arms.
Thank you. So that's a good idea. So no hydraulic pumps, so to speak.
Right. Odd, it looks like right on the ground there's another COPV right where your hand is.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't gone into great detail. There's a few things lying around here and there. A show and tell as it was, I think, went for nearly 4 hours, didn't it? A few couple of days ago.
Somebody mentioned this is sort of like by his inventory tent. You can stare at it for days and miss things.
Many rabbit holes were undertaken.
No rabbits were found.
So this area, I guess it does. There's a few things I noticed here and there. There's some more of those. Gee, there's more of those. Lots of those circular jigs getting made.
Remember, it's easier to spin the part than it is to spin the welding and jigs and the people workspace.
Yeah, I think we're going to workspace jigs for a long time here because we got to fill that whole factory. Of course, every section won't have a jig, but I think we're going to see a lot of them.
Agreed.
Who's wise enough to know where a jig becomes a fixture?
Yeah.
Who can ever really tell? Okay, onto the scrapyard. That'll do. Onto the scrapyard. There's the remains of Ship 26. RIP, Ship 26. Funny they scrapped 26, but still haven't scrapped these hot ring test articles. That's quite funny.
Since they're reinforced, I think they're, for the future testing, they're using those as their non-deformable load transfer.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, actually.
Okay, yep, fair enough. This photo shows that they've got the new. So missing from here is obviously the booster puck shuck testing stand, which is now at Massey's. So they've put these new bases in under here. And it looks like this stand also has the bases somehow being put up underneath here as well. So I'll just use this other one over here because it's easy to see as an example. So they permanently bolt a leg to the ground, and then there's a pin in here to hold the ship or booster stand down. So in the past, the legs were attached to the stand, and they'd have to bolt down the legs to the concrete every time, which is quite a number of bolts by the time all the legs. Nowadays, the legs stay behind, and there's a pin mechanism up under here, which is driven by these electrical or hydraulics that come through. So a lot quicker and easier to get the ship stand or the booster stand off the pad. Is it this one?
That one, I believe, shows it.
That one, yeah, sorry.
Have we worked out yet? I believe that might be moving towards the universal base structures to hold down a booster or a ship stand.
Let me see here. 2468. 246. Don't think so.
What there's changing at the on the stand where they're working. It looks like I wasn't sure yet because
2468. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, Alex. Sorry.
yeah, I'm not sure if they are yet, but it would be helpful.
So you're saying so they can put a ship or a booster at any station?
Yeah, for their stand, but that might be when they do their revision to ship stands.
No, that would make sense though, Alex. Can't be having that. Yeah, I'm still waiting with bated breath for the new ship transport stands. I'm really over those janky chain down farmer looking jobs. So with all due respect to farmers, I apologise. Farmers feed the nation. Don't forget that.
They're very clever folk.
Absolutely. Very much so. It's called resourcefulness anyway.
I believe somebody here lives on a farm.
Yeah, well, it's more of a hobby farm, yeah. Here we have 10 acres.
Just pointing out you're making fun of your people. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say you can, if you're a farmer, you can say farmer jokes or whatever. So right. I'm gonna pull that card out.
There you go, Steph.
I grew up in Riverina in Australia. Grew up on rice farm with sheep and winter wheat. We flood irrigated rice. Had crop dusters. Grew up around playing with crop dusters. It was awesome amount of fun. Once again, I digress. I think, Joe, we can go back over to questions and donations again, please. I think, can we?
Yep, sorry. I was dealing with the dog. All right, let's hit this up. Looks like we're around 3,500 so far for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Thank Anonymous for a $20 donation. Megan with $5. Another Anonymous for $20. David Pothier for $50. Another Anonymous for $50. Two more Anonymous for $20. Stan J with $25, a 20-pound anonymous donation. RC Horseman, thank you, my friend, 50 Canadian dollars. Anthony Monahan with €5. Jim D, 55, with $20 donation. Cumulus Granitis, my friend, with 50 Canadian dollars. Tom with 10. Philakid, our friend. Thanks, Bob, for a $100 donation. Anonymous with 20, and Ire Specter with $20. Thank you all so much for that generous support for the kids. Going to give them a good Christmas. Question from Everett Jan in. How will they install the hold-down clamps with the Pancake already on top, or are they already installed?
They're removable for maintenance reason. So they're probably going to just do the normal workflow.
So they could be installed in through the front here, perhaps.
They can only sort of fit through the front.
Actually, that's a good point. They can't come in from the back or from the top. So, yeah, in through the front, there's the answer to that.
Yeah, and their shielding would prevent them from moving into the gap as well.
That's a good question, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for that answer. Stephen Lewis asking, are you convinced it will be a double trench?
100%.
Yeah, I'm there.
A very good indicator of that is the fact we have 2 flame buckets. So that pretty well rules out a single flame trench, like in my mind, 100%, but maybe 99%. But yeah, having 2 different buckets is a very good indicator of that.
Explanation enough for me. Ulrich Mueller, Tweety Bird, asking, I wonder how they will get rid of boosters they catch in the future. They only have 2 operating transport stands, and the only opportunity then is to block an assembly station in Mega Bay 1.
Well, ideally, they get reflown. Sorry, Alex. And I think we'll see some more booster transport stands, and we're going to see some more rocket garden area, perhaps. Got a new gigabay in the being planned. I don't think that'll be an issue in the very near future. I think we're going to see a booster get reflown more than likely next year. So yeah. Otherwise, yeah, drop them in the ocean's a good way to get rid of them. Sorry, Alex.
Well, they're also going to have to set up a refurbishing station or 2. Probably external or not a new structure for that workflow, since it's fundamentally different and a bit more dirty than their clean assembly.
So, example, right now there's actually a free stand actually in Mega Bay 2 if they were to refurbish, say, booster 14 come back if they want to refurbish it. There's actually a spot in there for it. But that's also another good question. We'll have to see what they do in the near future.
Yeah, I think we all have that same question. I expected to see more booster stands coming with the rate that they're building them. But plopping them in the ocean is the only way I can think of until they start building a lot more stands.
And hold downs, and they still are threatening to make that brake stand to rotate them horizontal.
So in this Mega Bay 2, like just in the near future, there's only 14, 15 on, well, 15's not there right now, but stands for 14 and 15. 16's on the turntable at the front. It's still not stuck, we don't think. We'll get to that in a minute. Even so, then 14 will fly, so there'll still be another stand ready for 14 to come back should they refurbish it. And then a long time before we need a stand for booster 17. So in the near future, they've got enough between transport stands and workstations. But sure, in the future, as they start to do a flight every 2 weeks, I guess by then we should start seeing boosters reflown as well, which would be awesome to see.
I'm wondering if there'll be a stopgap, sort of like the ship engine install stand they had set up outside, where they just have a wraparound workstation on the aft sections of boosters.
For refurbishment, yeah, that's a good thought too. Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Indeed. We got another anonymous member of chat donating $5 Canadian. Question from Crane Man. Could the SQD arm extension be in the GSE building or the large tent at Sanchez?
Yes. Perhaps. I'm just wondering whether they got the room. Yeah, I guess there's room to get it in and out of in there. Yes, that is a possibility.
There's a large door right staring at that side. No, the peak gable side, that section. They can make any door they need.
Well, that's why we saw. What did we get to see rolled out of there? We saw
the
Original
Pancake.
Pancake.
That's it. Yeah, except at the other end, wasn't it? Was it? Yeah, the other end,
Correct.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they've definitely creative with where they work on things.
Now, I guess there's a couple of possibilities. It's either inside this tent or one of the, I don't know about any of the other tents, or it's just going to arrive on a truck, or it's still to be started.
All right, another question from Crane Man. Are those 4 gray tanks in the top right for the accumulator in the carriage, and for reference next to the long white container?
Long white container.
Up by
Perhaps up in this area.
see a bunch of vacuum jacketed pipes. They're large and silver, so that's not them.
One second. I'm not sure what they mean. Let's look for another white container.
There are no white containers to choose from.
Sorry, Crane Man, I'm not quite sure what you're referencing. Chuck a thing in chat, I might be able to read it quickly. Yeah,
I'm
not
keeping an eye
sure.
on it.
Sorry, Todd.
I'm keeping an eye on it just in case he does.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sure he'll send us a clarification quickly.
There, the long white container with the large bird painted on it.
Well, that's not that one. I'm sorry, I can't find it.
We're not very good at where's Waldo. Oh, right there's right. Yeah.
Yep.
He says that as he finds Waldo.
Yeah. Well, it's where's Wally in Australia, by the way.
Oh, okay, I like that better. Those look like more vacuum jacketed pipes. The large 24-inch variety.
Yep, that's definitely what it is.
Thanks, Crane Man. Is that the bird? Is that what we're talking about?
I hope so.
Me too.
All right.
He's saying in the middle of this picture, so yep. Thanks, Joe.
I want to thank Peter Boras for donating $100 to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Appreciate that donation. And I am all clear in my queue.
Thank you. Yeah, we say indeed a lot. We get that from, I think we get a bit of that from the NSF stream too, I think. There's like
I know, right?
little agreed or indeed, whatever. All right, let's go over to the build site. Keep moving along. I've got some amazing panoramic photos coming here through here from the RGV photography. Thank you very much. Pretty amazing. I like these in the weekly update videos. We can say moving on to the launch site, and we get a nice zoom into the launch site. It works really, really well. Okay, let's start behind Mega Bay 2, leading away from Sanchez. So we can see some more of these platforms. Personally, I thought we were done with these platforms, but it appears there's going to be 2 more in between each platform now, where the platforms that are already installed in Mega Bay 2 have dedicated staircases going to them. These appear to not have that, but instead will have like a ladder coming from the other levels. So they're going to be able to access the whole of the ship with all these platforms. So I guess we expect to see quite a few more of these to come yet.
I think we're nearly done.
And we can see the fold-down platforms here that allow the ship to be safely moved in close to the platform, and then finally the last piece get folded down. I think that's the same in the VAB building at Kennedy.
I believe those are much more snug. They go around all four sides.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Now, I think we
Yeah.
saw. Did we see Booster 15 roll out with one of those caps on it? I think we did, didn't we?
I read something
Yeah.
about it, but I didn't want to verify because didn't want my hopes broken.
Yeah, we did see that on there.
Yeah, I'm one of, I think, of Stargazer's photos. By the way, Stargazer is really worth the photo. It's good to cross promote. I think we're all team space. I've been using him a lot to keep up to date in these lulls of the aerial photos. So I appreciate Stargazer's photos. Thank you very much. Yeah, one of the rollout pictures, showed a white rim at the very top of the booster, which we don't see actually on a booster. So pretty sure it's got a cap on, which is good to finally see these caps actually getting used. We were wondering why we hadn't seen them used earlier. Like, for instance, the static firing booster 14 didn't have one on it, or the other boosters. So yes, I finally they're actually using it. Not sure why all of a sudden I decided that's a good idea.
If I remember right, they did 13 had a cap on it when it rolled out to Massey's. Then 14 did not, and now 15 did. So I don't know if they forgot that middle one or if something had changed in the designs, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went down.
Which one
Thank you.
did they catch?
Like
Oh, don't make me think. So was it
12.
No. I was trying to see if maybe folklore took over.
Yeah. 12 caught, 13 went in the drink, 11 went in the drink. I had to think
Or
then.
as we're referring to it, the booster recycling area.
I like that.
I knew I'd get confused on ship vehicle numbers before the stream finished. Thank you for doing that. Okay, back here we've got a lot more drainage work completed. Let's talk about things I do know about. We can see the downpipes hooked up here. The last flow we saw a big manifold with 3 holes in it and a cap. We can see that's been installed here in line with the three outlets here. So this little manifold I think is tying in drainage work coming from this direction and from perhaps the Ringyard direction. And we can see some more concrete work to continue the footpath coming along around this area. And I'll just move over a fraction. And continuing around the corner here to meet up with the footpath along here, the walkway along here. So that'll all be complete soon. We still have Tent 4 for all those who love Tent 4.
My favorite.
Okay, let's go back to the bays. We'll start with High Bay. It's the most interesting today. We have a new structure. It's believed it could be the new Pez loader. So we have a base. It kind of looks more rectangle than square, to be honest, now, but of course it's hard to tell with this angle.
Yeah, as we saw parts rolling into there before the flight, Mauricio had asked if there's anything special we want to catch, and someone had mentioned to see if we can get inside high bay. And I don't think he got a more perfect shot. Unfortunately, it still leaves us scratching our heads trying to figure out what exactly that is.
That would have been me. And yeah, absolutely. That's one good thing that RGV does for us is ask for input. And when we do give them input, they definitely come up with the goods, which is awesome. It's awesome to be sort of part of the process when that happens.
It will be nice if this is a freestanding loader, if that's what it is they're building.
Would have to be a lot taller, wouldn't it?
The structural steel they're bringing in is quite substantial, so that's why I was thinking it might be. They might have learned their lessons with large masses suspended next to delicate ships.
Yeah, like lifting frames, for instance.
Correct.
Okay, there's the stand for booster 15. It's all now at Massey's with booster 15. In Mega Bay 1, we have booster 16. We're pretty sure it's still in two pieces because we haven't seen a transport stand go in. Go in. So when they stack the methane section on top of the lock section, they have to change bridge cranes. So they've got to bring the methane section to a stand, disconnect one bridge crane, bring the other bridge crane over and lift it, and then finally stack it on top of the LOX tank, which is sitting on the turntable here. So we haven't seen that happen yet. So still 16s in two pieces, which is pretty awesome to think. We're up to booster 16 already, and I guess we'll start seeing 17 soon enough come on through. Mega Bay 2 still has, let me think, ship 33 and 34 inside. I think 34 is over here, stuck in the corner. 33 hands. It come back from Massey's? It has, hasn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, thank you. I feel I should remember those things.
It's okay. They do their transports at night.
Yeah.
Near mid-afternoon, so no excuses stuff.
I know, right? So I think we've seen in the interim, we've seen ship, what are we up to? 30, that was ship with a P. 35 come in here and have its nose cone and payload barrel welded together here in High Bay and then moved back into the factory. So we know that at least the factory can handle a payload bay and nose cone, which we always suspected, in height. So hopefully soon we'll see that happen in the factory and not have to use the High Bay for that operation, at which point I think we'll see High Bay decommissioned and pulled down. Also, while in the interim, SpaceX have taken ownership of the Stargate building, the Texas University buildings, so that can be demolished as well now. So it's looking more and more like there's going to be a massive big bay in here sooner or later, probably more sooner than later. There's a good chance we'll start seeing that construction in 2025, I would imagine.
Correct. I think those few pilings we saw a month back being driven there were test holes.
I was kind of curious how they did a couple and then disappeared it.
Yeah, they're probably validating their soil numbers, so cutting their number, size of the piles needed.
Okay, we better keep wiggling along here. At the back, not a lot to report. Down the back of the factory here, there's obviously goods are coming and going. Some lines painted, I guess. This little area here has been concreted. I can't remember if that was in the last flyover or not. There's some bollards being put up, some sort of staircase stuff staged. Not too much to talk about back here. Over to the Ringyard. That photo will do. I guess I'm calling this a Ringyard. There's a few rings here. A few of the form fits for the... I keep calling for the nose cones, but it's actually for the dome, isn't it? For the domes.
Yeah.
Correct.
I did that twice or so on the show and tell. There's lots of those sitting around, ready to be made into domes, E-domes, I believe. What a mess. There's a massive mess, big mess in here going on. It's good to see. I imagine the workers use gumboots. You call them gumboots, to walk in the mud. We call them gumboots. Lots of mud getting walked all over the place. Just quickly in this photo, I'm just going to move quickly ahead through here. The boulevard's getting concreted, starting to get some actual roadway built, which is good to see. We've got a nice glass with the corners put in. All the glass is finished and the corners have been put in. As on that roof, we see this shaping of the roof to bring water into the drains here. And speaking of roofs, we've pretty well completed the whole roof. So that whole section now is pretty well finished on top. There've even some HVAC units been installed. They've moved the window washer machine over here to complete this section. They've completed that section. We thought there was a door down here. It's not a door down here. There's a door there, though. Big door.
Now I can see why. There's that giant header right above your hand. The white horizontal in the sea of silver. Up on the wall.
Keep going to your right. One more up to the left. The next space up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can see why everybody thought I didn't realize they had that giant header. So they could still cut a doorway into that.
That's true.
Was
Wouldn't
the
need a
doorway? Oh, the doorway was there. I thought it was down here.
No.
Oh, it's
Which
there,
would be
okay.
very on brand for SpaceX to add it after the fact.
Yeah, cover the wall, pull the wall down, cover the wall, pull the wall down, make a door.
There's a fine standing construction technique for doing that. It's easier for permitting sometimes, but I don't think SpaceX has that issue.
Okay, fair enough. I can see some sort of vents there. Still not much of an idea what's going to happen in here yet. These things haven't moved. They look like exhaust fans up you'd see over a restaurant or a cafe, perhaps. I'm not sure what's going on in that area still. I know there's a doorway down here and a doorway there.
Those double doors are new. Yeah, I'm not saying those look like restaurant exhausts, but I'm not seeing the makeup air. Very strange.
Okay, at the front here we have some concrete. Lots of concrete. So that concrete's probably going to get ripped up as they do. The trees in here. Now, I think there's not a lot to report. I mean, there's lots and lots of work has been done in here. I don't mean to just pass it off as there's not much happened here. Obviously, since the last flyover, a lot of work has been completed to get this roof finished and the rest of the steel beams put up. But there's not a lot to show, so because it's all done internally. But it's good to see, finally, good to see the final shape here of the whole new factory office area. Pretty well complete. It's a weird shape, I know. Some people are like, my goodness, what on earth are they thinking? But anyway, there it is. Deal with it, I guess. How they say, cope.
Well, if they are using this back corner as receiving, the building's sort of set up to as a natural visual break so that you won't see all the trucks unloading from Highway 4 and entering into the office section.
That would be a good sort of way to come in here and use this Ringyard area as a sort of truck sort of manoeuvring area, even for into the factory there. One thing that came up in Chantel, people are asking, we haven't seen any of the raw stainless steel rolls of stainless steel, which we're calling Starship eggs. We haven't seen any of them even on trucks arrived. They must be bringing them straight in. We don't actually get to see them anymore. We used to see them stacked. Where was it? Over here somewhere we used to see them stacked, I think it was.
Racks and racks and racks of it.
Yeah, so that's all obviously inside now. We did get a little inside word. I'm not sure if it's a leak or I'm pretty sure it was within ITAR. An employee had stated that in this area, it's almost full of barrel sections in here, which is awesome. So there's quite a few airframes ready for stacking. So I'm imagining there's more than likely sort of staging areas here for storage nowadays, and then construction all through these areas. And maybe like the old Ringyard now is sort of part of this area in here. Once again, they're just guesses of little bits and pieces of information we get here and there. I'm pretty sure that's all within ITAR, me saying that.
Yeah. If anything, it'd be an NDA, because none of it is ITAR related.
Okay, yeah, non-disclosure agreement, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I believe that it was a pre-hire comment, so.
And it was a broad comment too. It was nothing detailed at all. At the front here, there was a big discussion whether this is going to be parking or gravel or grass. It appears like it's actually grass, which has grown since the last flyover, which is awesome. Okay, I'm going to move over to the village. Okay, a little speculation that came true, which I'm pretty happy about. This area is in fact for accommodation buildings, a little bit different to the buildings we've seen before. I think we've seen this timber style before. We've seen this style, and then there's that. I'll just jump back and forwards a bit here. This style, this is what I'd imagine they were modelling it off this area, just using different buildings, that's all. So it's always nice to see speculation actually come true. And there's even more of it over here. They've cleared all this soil out here, or at least levelled it. And there's more of that same sort of infrastructure being put in here. So it looks like there'll be even more, possibly 2 rows of accommodation along here as well. Lots and lots and lots of accommodation.
Yeah, good call on that one, Steph. You called that like a month and a half ago when they first started digging out and heading stub outs. So I give you credit on that one. Good job.
Okay, lots of pine trees going in with palm trees. Bit of water from rainfall in the pools. There's a concrete slab getting ready for the, looks like amenities building and the actual plant room for the pools. There's some towers going up in here. Perhaps some like waterfalls, sort of for the kids to play under, perhaps.
Yeah, that's one of those splash pads.
Is that for kids playing, or is that for like showering off after a swim? Or
it's for kids playing primarily.
Cool.
So you have all
that's
fountains. And I still think on the flat section there where your hand is, they're going to build a structure.
So here?
No, on the lower level. To the right. No, down right there. The big, yeah.
Yeah, it does look like something's getting prepped for that area, for sure. That's getting prepped for something. So this should all be outdoors, shouldn't it? And maybe some shade cloth up over the top.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice climate, and I wouldn't want to pay the AC bill for removing that much humidity.
For sure, yeah. Okay, over on the village here, nice portrait shot. Can see they're planting more of these palm trees. Oh, sorry, jump around on you there. All the way along this street. It looks like we've got a permanent gate. That was in our last play. We weren't sure that was permanent on it, but it looks pretty well like a permanent gate now. So I guess we'll see another one over here on, that's not Meme Street, that's Meme Street, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is making it look more like they're going to use the main road as trucks, and they don't want normal automotive traffic blocking it.
So like a gated community.
Partially, because I don't think until they control everything, I don't think they can limit access.
I see
I
palm
don't.
trees all the way down. I think we might see palm trees on all these streets yet. They're putting palm trees in some of the house blocks here as well, just to make it all look nice and tropical. We've got the sushi bars coming along nicely. It's got its roof and that on it now. Sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, until they fully can, since these are still public right away, so until they're fully condemned to SpaceX's, they can only limit access. They can't close it completely.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's in the paperwork to be changed, the name to be changed to Starbase, this actual town. Not sure if that's come through or not.
I believe the application is in, but I don't think it's been approved yet.
Yep, so this area here is still getting developed, still not sure what it's going to be used for. Just trying to orientate myself here. Where's the old station? It's here, isn't it? The tracking station.
Right there.
Okay, yeah.
And I think since they now are closing the deal on the Stargate buildings, they'll finally be able to demo that.
Okay, yep. So a little bit of car parking here and here now. Okay, Joe, I think we can cross back over to you. Thank you.
All right, sounds like a plan. I want to thank my lovely wifey, Astro Jen, for donating $20 to the cause, as well as John Stollery with 20 Canadian dollars, Toby Wobie with $5, Anonymous 20, Toby Wobie with another $5, another Anonymous with 10 euros, Flatlander 1951 with $50 donation, and another Anonymous $100 donation, all to the cause. Thank you very much. Brings us closer to our goal. Want to thank Frank for becoming a RGV flight supporter, becoming a member, and then upgrading to RGV Early Access. And then we have Jeff Leclerc with $50, which didn't show up in my stream, but it showed up on Jen's. So, okay, that's interesting. Again, some examples of where your money's going. $10 can help provide a new toy for hospital play areas at St. Jude. $25 helps provide a no more chemo party to celebrate the end of a patient's chemotherapy treatment. $50 helps provide necessities for parents who may have hurriedly left home after their child's diagnosis. $100 helps provide a patient wagon. $250 helps cover the cost of share of chemotherapy for a St. Jude patient, and $500 could help cover the cost of a share of the bone marrow treatment for a St. Jude patient. Emlyn, we can go ahead and roll the second video, please.
Well, Abby, what are you doing?
I thought I'd give something to St. Jude.
Nicely. I thought that was my job. I think I'm going to make you an honorary elf.
Let's go.
Let's go. Giving back to St. Jude is a wonderful thing. Do you know there are many ways to give to St. Jude? Well, we can donate, we can fundraise, we can even volunteer as well. And we can encourage all those that we know to do the same.
Really?
Certainly. It is the giving season. May we all find ways to give back, and I hope that a lot of people will choose to give to St. Jude. Now, let's get those gifts out of the bag and let's see what we have here.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Emlyn. That is just a super cute little commercial there. I love those. All right, we can proceed on to the launch site.
Okay, let's just do that then. Another fantastic panoramic shot here. Can see all the way to the Rio Grande and over into Mexico. You can see we're well and truly above the cloud cover here. So as you can see, even on this day the flyer was conducted, that we're a little lucky with the weather again. The clouds stayed away for the actual flyovers. So We thank our lucky stars that we got to have a flyover this week. And once again, I reiterate, we appreciate everyone's patience over the last few weeks waiting for these aerial photos. But as you've well noticed, the weather has been quite atrocious. And of course, in between the weather, there's scheduling, there's aircraft availability. There's so many things that have to line up for these flyovers to happen. But the weather was the main issue in the last few weeks has been the weather. Okay, we'll start over here with the main flame trench. Try saying that 3 times quickly. We can see they've been digging away nicely here. They've dug out from the last flyover. I think the dirt was up to that level, and now it's down. So they've dug down this level. And I think Alex pointed out to us all the way along that as they're coming down in levels, they're putting more of the tieback. Where is it? More of the tiebacks in. We can see the first row of tiebacks here with a support beam in place. And they're starting on the second of the tieback beams here.
And I don't know if it's been pointed out, on the top of the frame's a skinny white hose. You can see it in this photo. It's
Sorry.
right above the trench by the pumps is how long those tiebacks are.
Well, they go like all the way through to way out here somewhere.
Yeah.
Way out here somewhere. Wow.
Yeah, they're using the Earth's mass outside of the failure zone to support it. And since there's no rock to speak of, they need a soil mass.
So it's good to see a lot of the trench work getting done there.
When you look at it, it seems like wouldn't they have gotten more done? But then when you look close and realize how big that trench is out there, they've gotten a lot done, really, even though it's not super deep. It's a lot more has been pulled out.
So thanks, Chrome Queries. There's plenty of videos of this process on YouTube, but here's one little bit of a review from Chrome Kiwi using a drill to drill in and then install the tiebacks, and then they fill the end of the holes with grout. Is it or concrete? It's grout. Is it or concrete?
Yeah, it's essentially the same. One grout is missing the large aggregate, and usually has more chemicals additives added to it.
And then finally they pull tension on them and use these beams here to spread the load. So thanks again, Chrome Kiwi, and be sure to give Ash there a follow on X. And there's his name and his, I think it'll come up if you just search Chrome Kiwi, actually, anyway. So thank you. Our favourite New Zealander. Okay, we're moving right along. The assembly equipment for the chopsticks, we stretch our memories way back to when they were installing the chopsticks on Tower A, where they assembled the carriage and chopsticks together on these frames from Fagioli. And it looks like, does that say Fagioli? No, that's just paint worn off, isn't it? Oh, that looks like actually something.
Yeah, it says Fagioli.
Is it? It's not. Okay.
It goes vertical. If you were to stand the pipes up, Fagioli is read downwards.
Yeah, I see ZA.
Okay, thanks.
I was hoping they were switching to Marmu.
So a little different. I think on Tower A, the uprights weren't that sort of lattice. I think they were more like solid, weren't they? Just trying to stretch my memory.
I mean, this pad they're building seems a lot larger than they need, but
So just going back into the trench, they put, I think, just a rat slab down, ready for the next bit of concrete trenching to be built.
And it looks like they're doing, the steels are adding, I think, is for the edge support when they're putting on the forms and such, since they won't be able to brace it into the trench.
Okay, yeah. Some verticals there too, ready for the formwork.
Yeah, they're like L's.
Yeah. And I'm not sure we saw this last flyer or not, there's quite a bit of plumbing cryo pipes in the trench already. More exposed piles. We're going to see a lot more exposed piles as they go down. While we're here, we'll quickly look at the tower. They've been adding, this is a good photo to go on to for the trench. They've been adding these extra gussets in here, which is good to see. The edge ones as well, or just the center ones, I think.
Centers for now.
Okay, for now, yeah. Looks like they've only got platforms for the centers. Doesn't look like there's a platform out here. Although there is here, maybe they'll change.
Yeah, it's a truss structure, so the bending moment is more in the center.
So it's getting refurbed. Well, it's funny they did that so much, like, after the fact.
They
I guess they've
didn't
only,
have their catch data yet.
yeah, true. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, let's go on to the main commodities trench here, which has advanced significantly since our last flyover. So there's quite a few things going on here. I guess we'll just start at one end and go to the other here. So we can see they've added, we imagine this was going to be an expansion joint, and that's what happens. I guess there was a couple of things here, wondering where the pipes would come. The choice of either the pipes were going to come out here or they're going to make an expansion joint here. So well done for the people who guessed it was going to be expansion joint. And here's, I was talking about at Sanchez, how all those pipes have had elbows added. Here's one example of where they're getting used up quite quickly. You can see racks have been put in ahead here. Let's jump back here. So the pipes being added in here. We saw in the last flyover something going on here with green pipes. Weren't sure what it was, but here they are. The green pipes have popped up. So it looks like the edge of the roadway looks like that square will be left open. Well, not left open, but in an area to allow all the plumbing to come up to the surface again. So I guess the roadway will end about here somewhere, which means overall the roadway is going to have to come through here and then turn to go to pad A or to pad B, because we'll have plumbing overland across here.
And if you look, the D2 gate is going to have to be expanded to the west. Oh,
yeah. I'll just finish with the trench for a sec. I'll go over there in a second. So they're pouring more of the trench here. It's pretty concrete pump. I think we saw a pink concrete truck too there the other day.
Yep.
Actually, one of these photos, actually. This photo, there's a pink truck. Yeah, there he is. Pink and green.
Cancer awareness truck, I believe.
Oh, that's right. You used to have that in America too. We have, pink. Everyone wears pink to work. For breast cancer, yeah, awesome cause. I mean, an awesome, fundraiser, I mean. So there's more steelwork going up. Yeah, more steelwork going up for another expansion hoop. And somehow they're going to get into this. When are they going to come back over the top, or they're going to cut a hole?
They probably just, there is an opening, but it's temporarily closed off for when they're pouring.
Okay, we just haven't. We're going to knock it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
like a
because
knockout.
exactly, because they still have the foundation to pour of the section of trench, and which I wouldn't be surprised if they pour it Monday or definitely next week. They
That's a
probably have,
lot of that's a lot of steel. There must be a metric ton or 20 in there of steel.
and it's very deceptive how large that, I'm calling it a tunnel, the propellant tunnel is.
So you can see
Yeah.
there's humans per scale. Sorry, Todd.
I was going to use excavators for scale to the right there, or at the first expansion loop. That's big hole tunnel.
Yeah, and it's odd that they're moving the high pressure gases just buried in the green pipes.
I guess they're fairly low maintenance, aren't they? They're not really needed to get to, I guess. Look, they got spaces there ready to backfill.
I think it's 2 or 3 levels worth of pipe work.
Yeah,
There's
I think you might be correct.
there's a ground photo of that where they're merging, and it's shocking.
Yeah, it took us a while to work out with some ground photos. We triangulated backwards and forwards with what was behind it and forward. I think we worked out eventually that they weren't in the trench because it just didn't quite line up. Because there was a photo from, once again, I'll promote Stargazer, in through here somewhere, or no, in through there somewhere. We could see the face of that vault there as well. So we'll keep moving along. I'm kind of a bit out of order here. We'll go to these tanks. A couple of new tanks have rolled in here, and a couple of high pressure reservoirs, which Todd, you were saying before about water farm.
Yeah, it's looking more like this is going to be the water deluge for pad 2. They got the high pressure gas for starting it. There's lots of foundation work going along in there. I think we possibly might have found the new area for the water deluge system.
Yeah, a lot of them are covered back up, but there's 3 rows of piles right along that, and probably another row underneath the dirt pile to the right.
And you're saying that could even possibly span the tunnel here with some of the water tanks.
Because there's probably going to be 5 to 6 tanks like the size of the ones at Massey's here.
Yeah, it's such a good design. Yeah, I've been predicting that it's going to be the same as Massey's for quite a while as well. So that looks more and more like that may come true as well. There's the SpaceX crane. Just while we're down here, before we go up in that area, we noticed through the weeks we've been noticing that they've pulled down the SpaceX sign here, and now the overhead beam, we can see where it used to attach there and here. And perhaps that's the remains of the beam rather than actually tearing up concrete. I thought they might be tearing up concrete, but people suggest that it's the beam getting broken up.
Why can't it be both?
It could be.
And
That area's nice and clear now. Oh, sorry, Alex.
What'll be curious is if they extend this trench towards for the air separation plant or not.
This trench?
Yeah.
The tunnel, you mean? I thought you were calling it a tunnel.
Yeah.
You just
Well, it'll be a trench since it'll be smaller when it's heading that way. And and the other reason they might be opening that is they're going to block off to the right access soon when they start extending the tunnel to the flame trench.
Through here, yeah.
Yeah.
So they might block this entrance off. Do you think they may make a new entrance here temporarily?
Yeah, because that whole corner right where your hand is going to get blocked in the near future.
Yeah.
Not corner, but yeah.
But once they put this trench in, once that's covered up again, they can. So there's a chance this could be used eventually as a permanent entrance. A couple of ideas have been that boosters go through there. Another idea is they may be able to roll them through here. I'm not sure about that with all the water deluge stuff and air separation stuff, so I'm not sure about that.
And a blast wall as well.
And a blast wall too, of course, yeah. So maybe
it'll probably be open for truck access for equipment, but not for ships or boosters.
Okay, we're going to keep moving here. So pretty well covered everything's going on in the trench. Like I said, we're going to jump through a little bit, whereas the pictures, are 1,000 words, so there's not a great deal to go into great. There's no need to go into great detail today. We'll keep moving along. Oh, we could be here for hours on rabbit holes here for sure. There's a new big concrete slab getting poured here. It's significantly thick, so it's going to support something sort of major, perhaps pumps. I'm not sure. Maybe overhead pumps like at Massey's. That's only one of many possibilities. And like at St. Alex, they've blocked off some of the entrance here, so maybe they're going to have to move that or maybe cut this building down a bit. I don't know. There's enough room right here for next flight's hardware to get through here yet.
It could squeeze through because the corner there will come down soon, where it's a little, and they could move the guard shack.
Yeah, because I moved the guard shack, I think there's just enough room, in my opinion.
And they trapped the Buckner crane as well. So
the new,
yeah.
The new yellow one, yeah. Here's a better photo. Just quickly over here, they've been pulling cables in. They've got a horizontal borer here, and they've been pulling cables in this. And then there's an excavator working over here, so there's something going on with electrical over here. Now, just jumping around on you, sorry. So that's 2 new tanks. There's 2 more new tanks here in the hot dog tanks. Still yet to have their equipment. These little, what do we call those equipment things? Their valve framework. The valves.
They were right up in front of the ground support building. Or the ground fab.
Yep. They've got more racks going ahead, ready for some pipe work. And they seem to extend past this little heat exchange system. So maybe they're going into this area. So maybe cryo's coming through further over to here.
Yeah, that pad will have the valve assemblies, the manifolds, and pumps.
Alex, this is where I have a question for you. I know on the old Hippos, they just vent the nitrous. On these ones, I'm kind of curious as to what you think they're going to do with it. Are they going to vent it or not? Because there's obviously the control ports in those upper pipes, but then they got a huge flange on the one end. Do you think they're going to divert it, capture it, vent it? Where's it going to go from there?
They're going to dump it like they're doing on the other ones over the blast wall, so they don't have inhalation hazard in case they have to send the red team out mid propellant load.
Gotcha.
Since there's a lot, it's cold, and so it'll settle and just fill that whole area with nitrogen, which great for fire suppression, not so great for humans.
Yeah, makes sense. I just saw that big flange, and I was kind of curious as to which way it was going to go. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I think there's going to loop one from the upper one on the top of that cableway. Because that's the only path that sort of makes sense right now.
This is getting quite complicated in here. I'll expect a little plumbing diagram from you, Alex, in the near future.
It's the primary. It's all done, being plumbed up. Now they're just hooking up to little bits.
So I can see how those tops are different on this one than the one at Sanchez. So you're saying they're going to vent this up. Whereabouts would that vent go to? Just somewhere away? Somewhere?
Yeah, it depends how they build the walls. Because, I mean, they need to get it out, but so far it's not clear. I mean, they could dump it over highway 4 for all we know.
I
And
think
there,
go on.
and on the new pad, there's it looks like room for 9 stations of some sort because they have the power stub outs. So I'm presuming pumps and valves, because the close to your hand is more the distribution control area.
9 pumps, maybe 6 locks and 3 methane pumps or something like that.
I think the methane will be where the white trucks are in that telehandler, because don't forget, this whole area here is going to be squared off all the way.
True, yeah, right across here, yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be another huge expanse, which is probably going to be the methane handling side of everything.
So it's looking like locks here and methane here.
Yeah, they've already roughed in the locks liquid nitrogen lines to feed these 2 heat exchangers, because they for reasons that by the short vaporizer they just installed between the 2, right, just forward is with the white cover right in line with that's the liquid nitrogen feed line.
On the locks one over here, yeah.
Yeah, they have that one is. And then there's the fill line and the pressure fill line, just the 2 silver ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all coming ahead nicely. So that's all in line. That's in line with these racks here, isn't it?
Right, and they're especially wide since the feeds on these are substantially larger than the existing locks, pumping manifolds, and heat exchangers.
So plenty to keep an eye on in the very near future in this area as well. And the development's actually proceeding quite quickly, and like many areas at once. They've got the tunnel, the water farm, the pump farm, the trench, obviously. Tower seems to be a bit slow recently, but that's going to change. So you're saying they're more than likely going to put this carriage and chopsticks on before the next flight, before mid-January.
Well, they've started assembling the truss for setting up the carriage and the arms, and it looks delicate. It's very strong, but it's a temporary structure. I mean, the 4 corners are just being held up on those wood cribbing pads and counterweights, but it seems kind of suspect to have that fully assembled and then deal with the exhaust plume and overpressure of a launch.
So would these be the legs and these be cross trusses, perhaps?
No, the double H's are the base, and the trusses, the open trusses, are the legs.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
Large red are the cross members.
For those of you that don't remember or weren't here when they set this up last time, they use this to set the carriage and the arms up in a position to where they will be mounted vertical, upright, arms out. That way, when they grab the cranes, they can evenly grab the structure and just go straight up, rotate in without having to then, turn it back onto its side from upside down. It makes it a lot easier to start the lift for the final lift.
And you're balancing the load a lot better since you can lift it at pretty much at the center of mass.
Well, you can't put the carriage on without the chopsticks because you can't get the crane over the top of the tower. It has to be assembled.
Yeah, you need one to counterweight the other, and the central Jesus pin on the chopsticks would make it very challenging to install separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot rides on that pin, doesn't it? Okay, there's not much work. There's nothing changed in this little area. They pulled down that wall. There's some more stuff. So that crane's also sort of trapped for a bit as well because of that roadworks over here, that pad there, perhaps.
And the electrical work as well.
And electrical work through. Yes, that's right. And electrical work in here as well. So all that has to happen before any of what you said about the carriage has to happen. Okay, we're going to keep moving along here.
Yeah, I could talk for hours about the tank farm.
Okay, and the final two of the 6 tanks. So that's obviously the ones from Sanchez. And they didn't quite look this big at Sanchez, but boy, now they're here, they look huge. So definitely methane, Alex.
Yep. And they probably are almost doubling their methane storage.
Yeah, of course, because when you increase the radius of cylinders, it's exponential how much extra volume in there with the pi r squared thing on the area of the circle on the end. So we expect to
Yeah.
see a little retainment wall as well, I guess, put up eventually by the regulations.
Yeah, it won't be too. It'll only be a few feet high. And
Yeah, like this
they're
little
gonna
one in here.
exactly.
This little baby one in here, which almost
Yeah.
seems, like not an up anyway. It is the regs. Oh, is that a
It's
Frosty pipe?
yeah, they're filling. Well, these were big photos they're taken.
Oh, there we go. Yep, there's a tank of filling. Oh, is that insulation on there? Is it only Frosty in the corners?
Yeah,
Cool.
and it's kind of nice for the valve assemblies on these tanks will be visible for a while since they're using the Ford flame, or if not flame, pipe trench.
Oh,
For
down
it.
here.
Yeah, they're gonna pull out all the old nitrogen stuff and reuse it for stage 4.
And that'll just get plumbed into this little part of the manifold here.
Exactly.
So that'll still use, on pad A, that'll still use the old recondenser system when they detank or whatever they've got to do. When they condition the plumbing and everything, they recycle the methane back through the recondensers and that.
They're doing that around the clock as well.
Yep, to keep things nice and cold and in a liquid state.
It's bad form to be venting methane.
Yeah. Okay, and finally, over at the tower, they've reinstalled it. I didn't realise they had uninstalled them, but they've reinstalled the casings for the ship lifting pins, and I think we've got a vision somewhere that they modified the ship lifting pin on this side. It appears that they've made it back to the way it used to be, so that's confusing a lot of people. And I think Ryan Hansen was saying now he's going to have to redo his little render there. So some people.
I did not see that on directly beneath the chopsticks formwork on the concrete. It looks like they're adding more deflectors. There and directly below it, there's another triangle. Yeah.
Okay. Got a different. No, that's not the right shot. That might be the best shot we have.
Yeah, they're hiding it in the shadows and all the left, the cherry pickers.
You'll have to keep an eye on that. Excuse me. Oh, what's that?
Oh.
Oh, shiny object. Yeah, lots of work going on the OLM. They've added some bit of steel on the hood here somewhere, I think, to help seal the gases from getting in the hood again. I thought they'd already done that sealing, but obviously they're doing some more.
It's all work in progress.
The chopsticks themselves haven't had a lot of notice. There was a worker up in here on once again, Starship Gazers ground photos working in the control box up in there. So a little bit of modification going on in there, probably just some minor adjustments. So looking like on track still for flight, keep forgetting the numbers, flight 6 in the middle of January. And I think we can, what's our time going? Yeah, we're a little bit over time, but that doesn't really matter. So we'll end with, we'll let Astro Joe go through donations and questions again, please.
All right, you got it. Just also wanted to mention that Mauricio is going to release a high-res image once we hit 500 likes, so please hit that thumbs up button.
So
All right.
440 odd so far.
Very good. Don't forget to smash that button before you go, y'all. But Toby Woby decided to keep me very busy and spam a bunch of donations, and I do appreciate that. So we're gonna start with $5 from Toby Woby, anonymous with $5, which I do believe was Sharpie. Toby with another 5, Yazada with 20, Sharpie with another 5, Callistia Lee with another 5, anonymous with $53. Another Toby for 5, another Toby for 5, Rocket Prophet for 5, Callistia Lee for 10, Rocket Prophet for 10, Sputnik Geezer for 5, Jake Winlow for 10, Rich with 150. Wow, thank you so much, Rich. You rock. Toby Woby with 6, Yazada with 5, Anonymous with £5, Paul with 50, Toby Woby with 7, Toby with 8, Toby with 9, Anonymous with 50, thank you so much, Callistia Lee with 10, and Just Martin, my friend, with £50 for St. Jude's Research Hospital. Jake Winlow just coming in with 50, thank you so much, I love it. I do have some questions, one from Kal-El. Any update from Mauricio on the oxygen system in the plane? I know he hasn't been up a lot since he got it, but how's it going?
Yep, I can answer that. The oxygen system is working fantastically. It's doing everything it needed to do. It lasts for about 6 flights before it needs refilling, which is awesome economically. It's working perfectly. They're not getting altitude sickness anymore, and it was well and truly worth the money. And we appreciate the whole community for helping out with that oxygen system. And it's been well and truly worth every single dollar spent on it. And thank you very much to the community for that little gift for him.
Awesome, that's great to hear. And thank you, Stephanie, as well, for your $20 donation.
Don't forget that's US $20. That's like $35 for me over here. I only did that because YouTube won't let Australians donate through YouTube for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on, but that's fine. So if you're in Australia, you might just have to use PayPal.
You can always go to the St. Jude website too and donate there. Yes, it won't get matched, but every penny goes for a good cause. So that is also the option.
That's
Thank you.
absolutely right. Great call. All right. Question from Ribby. I forget, is there 2 rows of sheet piles where the QD will be, or just one?
There's 2 rows for the propellant trench heading to that edge of where the Olam's gonna stand. I believe the drill is. Yeah, I believe the drill is in that working that area. Yeah.
So there's down here. There's 3 down here as well, Rose.
Yeah, that'll probably be for the support structure for the QD arm. We'll probably cantilever over and connect to the booster completely separate from the Olam.
All right. Quick question from Jimmy Mack in chat. Quick clarification, the upcoming January 25th will be Flight 7. The last one was Flight 6. We don't know exactly what date it's going to be. FAA was talking maybe January 11th. We don't know. But yes, this will be Flight 7. Michael
Apologies
Oliver,
there.
go ahead.
I knew I'd mess numbers up. Apologies there.
Lol, we don't do numbers here very well.
Right. Michael Oliver asking what happened to the SpaceX owned LR 11,000. Well, it's there. I don't know what did happen to it.
It's been
Nothing.
relegated to lifting Rio.
There it is.
Yeah, this week it moved the 2 vertical tanks and the high pressure cylinders. And lots of assist work on the junior Lego pad.
Junior Lego pad. I like it.
That's good. All right, a question from Crane Man. Aren't the green pipes just staged next to the propellant tunnel for lifting with a crane? I don't think they will be buried next to the propellant tunnel.
Well, our first half is buried, and they're throwing a vapor barrier on top of the next section they welded in.
Oh, they're definitely buried. Yep, they're buried there. There's the protection for them, and they're in a trench beside the tunnel. I like that. I don't keep calling that tunnel because it is a tunnel. That's a good answer. That's a good name for it.
Yeah.
Because there's a flame trench. There's the commodities. We'll call them culverts, I guess. The commodities culverts down here. Oh, sorry, commodity culverts through here, and then commodities tunnel. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can easily walk in it, it looks like. Without the pipes, you could drive your truck in it.
So maybe they could even access, like you say, maybe they could even, with the lids on, they could actually come in here and do some minor maintenance without having to remove the lid.
I'm pretty sure they will have the access to get to those vacuum pipes and other things inside of there.
Do you think it'll have a removable lid or a permanent lid?
It has a lip for either. They'll probably weld it down to the bevel edge. And
yeah, I'm thinking that, like Alex says, they'll weld it down to some edge, the beveled edge. But I also think that they might have areas that can come off, whether it's a manhole or a large section. I don't think the entire. I don't think it's going to be one or the other the entire way. There will be different breakups for different needs.
Cool.
Yeah, because like right where they're working on the expansion loop is all prep for the precast beams.
Yeah. Oh, is that a bit of concrete in the middle too, is it?
Yeah, that's the main block for, because there's going to be a transverse beam going where your hand is, and then 2 going perpendicular to that.
To continue this sort of edge along here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
And there's a socket you can sort of see for where the beam's going to sit.
Cool. Thanks, Joe.
All right, and I was a little distracted, so I don't know if we answered this question already, but from Dabble Dodd, we often see bends in the pipes where it would be just fine to go straight. Why do they put bends in the pipes?
They expand and shrink considerably when they're at their working temperatures. Generally, the vacuum jacketed have internal bellows to account for it, but these are substantially larger than most of those, and they're just using normal elbows at their corners, so they have more expansion than usual for that style of pipe.
And we see that all over the place, that expansion. Look, I'll show you a few. And we've seen it from day one. We see these expansion loops like literally everywhere. There's another one in here for the main locks. They're all over the place, these expansion loops. And yeah, because we understand, it's quite easily understood that steel expands and contracts under different heat and cold conditions. So when it gets cold, I guess it shrinks, and then when it gets warm again, it expands again. So you will see that quite all over the place. We see it on Starbase, and we have done
And
from day one.
Yeah, it's a sizable amount as well. It's a couple percent, which, it's a meter or so, or a couple of meters per 100-meter run.
And we saw on this run of pipe work here, the actual pipes on rollers. So, and they're sort of using the rollers and this little elbow system here for an expansion joint, expansion loop in this little area. So that plumbing's actually sitting on rollers. It's not even pinned down to allow for that expansion.
And
That's probably the longest run on Starbase without any expansion joints, that little run along the front there.
well, there's a 2 on either end,
Yeah.
and it's the bellows are the tops of the new tanks. You can see the bellows that they use instead of the loops in certain instances.
In this area.
No, the new tanks that just showed up. They're
Okay.
the access ports. They look like stainless steel accordions.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
All right, I want to thank another anonymous donator for $50 donation to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. That will about wrap it up. Michael Oliver wanted to let us know that they caught a booster. That's a NSF reference, and of course, we all get that reference. It's very funny. Thank you, Michael Oliver. Appreciate that. I believe we can go ahead and start our sign-offs. We're all caught up here.
Okay, so quickly, we've got the 500 likes, so there'll be an image. Wow, that's a running total of $4,500. Wow, that's amazing. That's so good. Thank you so much, everybody. That's really, really good effort. Thank you.
It's all going to go to a great cause.
How long do the donations stay open for Jared's batch?
I believe last year we kept it open through the weekend and closed it out on Monday morning. So anybody that's coming in to watch this after the fact will also still have the opportunity to continue to donate. And Inland's telling me it's unlimited, but we can close it out whenever we want. But once we do have that closeout total, I will be screenshotting that and sending it to Jared personally. And he promised me that he will match that dollar for dollar.
Outstanding.
So thank you very much, Joe, for your liaison work there between yourself and between us, and Jared Isaacman. And I hope you pass on our appreciation, our much appreciation for everything he does for the community and for the actual industry, and for in this particular case for St. Jude's. I know it's one of his little pet projects, so that's awesome to see. So I hope you get to pass it on to Jared for us all, and on behalf of us all, thank you very much, Jared.
Absolutely, I sure will, my friends. Thank you.
All right, so Todd, thank you very much for joining us today and with your input today. It was good having you on the show again. I always enjoy having you on the show, Todd. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is by far my most favorite stream possible to do. The reasons and causes are like better than anything possible. Let's keep the sharing and giving going. I hope everybody has a happy holidays and a great new year. We'll be talking to you all soon. Take care.
Thank you, Todd. And Alex, as always, you're a wealth of information. Thank you very much for being on the show. You make my job so much easier. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and most important, thank you to our fans and everybody who has the ability to donate. Thank you very much, because that's actually, for me, the most important thing for today's stream. And happy holidays, and hopefully we can chat again in the new year.
Absolutely, yeah. The donations today, the whole St. Jude's theme for the day, obviously was in a very, very important part of the show. I mean, catching up on 4 weeks of development was very much awesome as well. And thanks, Joe, again. Thank you again for doing the whole St. Jude thing for us on the live stream, because that took that load off me as well. Thank you very much. And I'm going to sign up and wish everyone happy holidays. And I think this is going to be the last live stream for the year. We may get a flyover before the end of the year. We'll see. But I don't think we'll have the live stream before the end of the year. So if not, everyone have a happy and prosperous new year as well. And I'll leave it for Joe to sign off. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Yeah. I will echo all of those sentiments. And we appreciate everybody. I want to thank Teal Slaughterjick for a $100 donation coming in at the last minute there. We appreciate that support as well. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Happy New Year to all the wonderful children at St. Jude's. And thank everybody in the background that keeps RGV supported all throughout the week. And thanks, Emlyn, for running the show, turning the knobs and pushing the buttons today. Thanks, my lovely wife, Astra Jen, for rounding up the talent, and Alex and Todd and Stephanie. Thank you all for your time and input as always. Thanks, wonderful chat. It's been a great day, a wonderful stream. Most engines cut off. Hot staging confirmed. Love you. Bye.